We are live.
We are live.
We are live. How are
Nice.
you?
Here we are. I am great and I am so excited to talk about what this is going to look like for folks that are taking care of someone. Uh,
For
to
those who don't know you, Wendy, like I'd
Oh
love
yeah,
to
I
tell
just
me who
jumped
you
right into
are.
that. Right. I just jumped right into that. I'm so excited. Uh, so I am Wendy Tadiucci. I am a life coach for women in the sandwich generation. And if you're like, well, what the hell is a sandwich? We're looking at women that are taking care of a loved one, could be an aging parent, could be a spouse, and also kids at the same time. Also running a business, working, living their lives, all those things, and they are just like really smacked together in this sandwich, and they are overwhelmed, frustrated, burned out, at the point of tears every day, and they're just holding it together. And so, through my coaching, I work with those women to take chaos and confusion and anxiety and turn those into peace and calm so that they know they are deserving and worthy to take care of themselves.
Yeah.
Because when they're taking care of themselves, they have an abundance of energy, of focus, of all the things to give to their loved ones, um, parents, kids, to their work, um, to all the things. And so that is what I do.
That's what you do. And for those who don't know me, I'm Marnie Blank. My business is Begin with the End, and I do. Are you hearing a? I don't know. Never mind. Um, I do end of life and legacy planning for people of all ages and helping facilitate those conversations within the family. Um, I'm a trained mediator, I'm a trained death doula, I'm a recovering lawyer, as I like to say. And the other thing I do is help people after a loss think about all of the paperwork and logistics that fall on families and the executor while they're also processing this grief. So I think that what drew us to each other, Wendy, is that we both have very similar client bases and that we're both trying to help people in this messy middle of sandwich generation and caregiving. And how are we working on those roles and responsibilities in the family so that people understand how to proceed with as much ease as possible.
Ease and flow, 100%.
Yeah.
Ease and flow in the messy middle.
So, what do you, when someone's coming to you and they're in that messy middle, how are you starting that work with clients?
Oh, I love that question. That's a great question. I will share a story with you. Um, one of my clients came to me because I mentioned the tears, just at the verge of tears. Um, she and I had many conversations before she said, "Yes, I need your help." Right? And every time we talked, what I was hearing is, I had a conversation with my boss, and what he said to me really just made me upset. And I don't know why it made me upset. And I just went to my office and I cried. And I feel like I'm on the verge of a breakdown. That's what I'm hearing. That's what they're noticing, but they're not noticing enough to take action, to do something
Yeah.
different, to get different results. And so when she said yes, the very first thing we did was a little bit of, I don't want to call it work, just a little conversation so that she understood and she noticed um, her feelings of not deserving, to stop and notice and go, ooh, hey, my blood pressure is really elevated. Okay, what's going on with that, right? We had that conversation so that she had the space to just notice and acknowledge that and she said this herself, she's like, I don't think I deserve, and I'm not worthy to take care of myself.
Mm.
That's where we start. That's where the work begins. And it's not really work, it's taking this journey so that that acknowledgement happens, so that when they're in fight, flight, and freeze and they're in reactive mode, they can have that mindset shift that gets them into their executive functioning brain, their intuition, their inner knowing.
Yeah.
So that they can make different decisions, thereby getting different results.
And I think creating that awareness, that space is so important for people to give people that permission. Um, Often I'm working with people similarly in that they're overwhelmed, whether it's with decisions, whether it's caring for an aging parent who suddenly things have changed and they're having to be in this, all of a sudden they're taking on more responsibility, more of the roles. It's getting to that overwhelm. And how can we take a step back? How can we work on breath? How can we be a lot of what I do with clients is taking walk and talks, whether, on the phone or in
I
person,
love that.
because getting people out in nature, just taking a breath, taking a walk.
Yeah, exactly. I love that. I love that for them because you're so right. Just because how many times do you notice someone holding their breath and they don't know
All the
they're
time.
holding their breath, right?
My sister often points that out to me. When I'm stressed, when I'm anxious, and my
Right.
sister will happen to be there, she'll be like, you need to breathe.
Exactly. That's the freeze part of the fight, flight, and freeze. You're not breathing, right?
Yeah, and sometimes it takes someone else to notice that we aren't doing that basic function, that thing that's giving us life. Sometimes when we're holding it all in, it's really hard to be making choices from a place of power when we're feeling completely overwhelmed.
Completely overwhelmed. And so breath work, I love that. Do you do like a specific breath work? Do you just like, hey, breathe? What do you do?
Often, when I'm starting a conversation with clients on the phone, we'll just start with a minute of just breathing, just intentionally.
Love that.
But I really love sort of box breath, where in for 4, hold for 4, release for 4, hold at the bottom for 4, and doing that just until there's a cadence and it sort of calms everything down. How about you?
I love that, and I do something a little bit different. I invite them to sit. First of all, sit. Put both feet on the floor to ground themselves, hand over their heart, and then deep breathe, deep breathe, deep breath in through their nose and out through their mouth. And when they're breathing in, I invite them to breathe in, imagine a lovely, beautiful, warm yellow light that fills you with whatever you need, if it's confidence, if it's joy, if it's whatever. And then on the exhale, you're breathing out all of that frustration, all of that anger, all of that tension, all of that sadness, right? And so we do that 4 times, or sometimes for as long as they need. And then open your eyes, and I ask them, well, how do you feel? Oh, I feel calm. Beautiful. So that's what I do.
Yeah, and from that place of calm,
Mm-hmm.
then we can start working on practical things, or the emotional. But when you've gone to a level of stasis where you took that breath, where you can step back and be like, okay, here's where I'm at, here's where I'm struggling, then it's easier to sort of work through any blocks or what's going on.
It really is from that place of, oh, okay, I took a step back. I can kind of see what's happening because that's the thing. We're so close. We're so close to it that we can't see the forest for the trees.
Yes. Yeah. A lot of what I suggest with people is just getting that nervous system
Oh my
back
gosh.
in place.
Yes.
Because whether I'm working with people planning and are just feeling that anxiety of, I don't know what to do with my aging parents, or I
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
have a fear about talking about death, or I don't want to talk about finances,
Right. Who
oftentimes,
does?
who does, truly? Or if people are in grief or in that messy
Yep.
middle that we were talking about, that nervous system is working at full
Yes.
speed. It's working overtime.
Girl.
And something that I suggest, I'm not on the phone with them normally during this, but this is what I do at the end of my day,
Yeah. Yeah.
is that when I need to get back to norm,
Yeah.
I put my feet up the wall.
You told me this,
I
and I was
told you
like,
about this.
what?
Have you tried it yet?
Kind of. And I say that because we just got zero gravity chairs. And so at the end of the day, I'm in that. And I think of you from time to time. I'm like, huh, Marnie was right.
It feels great.
It feels great.
Everything, all the blood that has built in the bottom, your legs and your ankles, and it's just weighing you down. It comes back, it flows through. 10 minutes, give it a try, everyone. Just, you might feel weird. Put on some good music, some tunes, put your feet up against the wall,
Mm-hmm.
and just lay.
Exactly. And if you don't want to do that, if that's too big of a step, get curious about what what might that feel like for me. Just let it be that, and let it guide you into whatever. But I love that, and boy, you're Marnie is totally right. By the way, so do that.
But I think to your point, if it's not for everyone, what is it that those 10 minutes when you're feeling overwhelmed, that's going to put you back into that state? So is it a specific playlist? Is it putting your feet up at the wall? Is it taking a walk? What is it for you that works for you?
That's a beautiful question, and what I have done in the past with my clients is I will walk them through creating an SOS 911 list. Here's the idea behind it. When you're in a good place, when you're in your intuition, when your nervous system is calm, this is the time to do it. And so you're going to make a list of, okay, I am nervous, I'm anxious, I'm whatever it is. And the idea is you go to this list, or you share it with your partner, you share it with your best friend. And when they notice you in this state, they're like, Wendy, listen to your favorite music. Wendy, go for a walk. Wendy, journal, right? And so make a list of all the things that make you feel good. It could be essential oil. It could be putting your feet on the wall for a few minutes. It could be watching Netflix for 20 minutes. Right? Just make a list.
Yeah, that adult coloring book. Get to it.
The adult. I
I
laugh.
love I love a coloring book.
I mean, these coloring books, there was one in, where was it? Michael's? Something like this. And it was, I don't know if I can even say this, but I'm going to say it. It was a coloring book of cat farts. Cat farts.
Love that for someone.
I'm like, I need this. Right? But yeah, it's stuff like that. It's just, silly, fun stuff. Because, my gosh, as adults, we just are so tough on ourselves. Right?
We're so tough on ourselves.
Yeah. And we don't need to be.
But what I love about what you just said is that it's not just writing down for yourself, like, okay, here are the things that bring me joy, here are the things that I should do, but in fact, sharing that with people who you rely on, who are your support network, and who can be like, Marnie, have you tried X today? And having that little bit of accountability or just that little bit of a kick to be like, yes, I know what actually calms me down and gives me a little space. And maybe I'm just not giving it to myself, but if someone else is telling me, giving me that permission, even though I shouldn't need it,
Right.
that's gold.
It's gold. And sometimes you don't want to hear it.
Totally.
And that's the magic behind like someone saying to you, okay, you remember you told me about this list. Here it is. And you might be like, oh man, who is she? Okay. All right. I see that she's right. Fine. I will take that thing and I will do the thing on the list, and guess what? You feel better.
So what do you say to people who are like, I just don't have the time? I don't have the time to do that. I feel like I just don't have a minute.
Yeah. Oh, okay. And that's their mindset. That's their reality. And that's their choice. But guess what? You can make a different choice. And you can shift your mindset into, I have time for this. I desire to have time for this. What would time for this look like? And just giving yourself that space to get curious, right? And focus on gratitude. Gratitude is a huge part of my practice, both personally and with my clients, because here's the thing. What you focus on grows. So if you are constantly saying to yourself, I have no time, I can't do this because I don't have time for myself, I can't take time for myself, right? Guess what? That's going to get bigger. And you're not going to have time for yourself. And you're going to get sick. And your health is going to suffer. And your relationships are going to suffer. And so when you instead focus on gratitude, and just start with something small. What is one thing you're grateful for today? What are 2 things you're grateful for the next day? What are 3 things? Because what we focus on grows. I had time today and I made myself a delicious cup of coffee. Beautiful. What about the next day? Oh my God, the sunrise. The sunrise, it was like cotton candy sky. Okay? And the more you do that, the more your mindset shifts into, oh, gosh, that might be possible. Is that possible? Can I? Yeah, I can do that. Oh my God, I can go outside. I can go outside and stand in the grass, take my shoes off and my socks off and just ground myself. Huh. And that feels good. And I got some fresh air and I felt better, right? So that's where it all begins, is shifting your mindset into what's possible. And then when you do that, you're able to make different decisions. And when you make different decisions, you get different results.
Yeah, I love all of that. I love gratitude. And sometimes we just don't feel it, and sometimes you have to fake it until you make it. But I mean, there are just beauty in the small things. And I think to your point that once you start to build this gratitude, this idea that yes, I do have time, even if it's a little time, I do have this space, then it opens up to other things like being able to set boundaries because you've developed a little bit of confidence, or you're able to reach out for that support that maybe you felt like I don't deserve to, or no one is going to be able to help. But maybe by just asking, building up that confidence to ask, then maybe you do get that hour that you can go do your own thing, go to the gym, go to a yoga class, whatever it is. And maybe it even is talking to work about having some extra space or some, time to do what you need to do, or some leeway.
Exactly. And you never know until you ask. If you don't ask, you don't get. That's what I always say.
Totally.
Right?
Yeah. And it's so hard, and I think especially for women, to ask. I think we are like, they're going to say no. We think ahead.
Right. We start
and we
getting
talk
into
ourselves
the,
out of it.
oh, 100%. We talk ourselves out of it. We make ourselves feel bad. All the things. All the things. We are so good at that because that's the default. That's what we've been taught.
Yeah.
That is what we've been taught all these years. I'm not going to get into the patriarchy and all the. I'm not going to. Right? Yeah. And so, just hey, what would it look like for me to ask? What do I have to lose? What's the worst thing that would happen if I ask?
I think that's such a good question when you think through what is the worst case
Exactly.
and what is it? Is it no? Are they going to fire you for asking something?
Right. And oftentimes, no. It's like, okay, well, they could say no. Well, so what? Am I still gonna be okay if they say no? Well, yeah.
Or maybe they'll offer a different solution.
Or offer a different solution. And what if they say yes?
What if they say yes?
Yeah.
And I think it's the same with asking for support amongst our friends
100%.
or, the community.
Marnie, something just came to me. Our friend Steph, you know Steph, she sent me. She always sends me these cute little reels from Facebook, and I forget who it was. It might be Simon Sinek. I might be mispronouncing his name. You know who I'm talking about, maybe. He said he got a text from a friend that said, "Hey, do you want to hang out?" And another thing popped up on his phone, and he never got back with her. Come to find out, she was having a really hard day. Really, really hard day. And she was feeling lonely. And he found this out, and he's like, well, how is that going to stand out from every other text that I get? And so they came to a agreement. He said, when that happens again, and they told all their friends the same thing, when this happens again, send me a text that says, I need 7 minutes. Because he looked and at the research and found that people that are feeling lonely need just 7 minutes of someone else's time to feel better. And so it could be as simple as, hey, I need 7 minutes.
I love that. I completely relate. You don't necessarily know what someone else is going through, and we're not mind readers. And there can be a miscommunication where someone really needs support, and life gets in the way with the other person. They forget to respond, and that's just part of our lives these days. And by having a safe word, having a way in which to be like, hey, I really need to talk to someone. Being able to be vulnerable enough to be like, hey, this is not just like how are you? I need you. That's really powerful, and you're going to get the support you need most likely.
Yeah, it's guaranteed. If you ask, you will receive. I believe that 100%.
And if someone's not free for whatever reason, they'll both call you back, and you can have that text with another person who's going to be free.
Yeah, ask someone else.
It's very powerful to know that it's 7 minutes.
7 minutes.
That's not that much time to make a difference in someone's day.
Right. Exactly.
Or to ask for that. That's not a big ask. 7 minutes is not a big ask.
It is not a huge ask. It's such a minuscule amount of time, but how powerful to give that to a friend, to give that to someone that really, really needs it.
Yeah. I love that.
Yay.
I feel like that's a good note to go out on, quite honestly.
I agree. That is perfect.
Well, I loved having this conversation. I think a takeaway is really that self-care doesn't mean go get a massage or go to a spa day. It is whatever gives you a little bit of space to breathe. Doesn't need to be expensive. It's whatever works for you.
Yeah, exactly.
And we all deserve it.
Open your refrigerator and pull out an orange and have that and enjoy the flavor and the scent and the experience. Simple as that.
I didn't notice that before, and now I love it on you.
Aren't you glad I wore this? You're welcome.
I love that, Wendy.
I know. Thank you so much, Marty. I always enjoy talking with you.
I always enjoy talking with you, and I hope we do this again.
Likewise.
Bye.
Bye.